Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Blessing Tippy. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So on my YouTube channel, I talk a lot about finances and I do try on hauls. I've only done one, but I'm planning to do more of those. So that's something that you can expect if you're new. And if you obviously have suggestions, please head over to my Instagram account, Blessing Tippy. Follow me and send me DMs, or even in the comments down below. Comment what kind of videos you guys want me to make next. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so in today's video, I am going to be talking about another building wealth method that I am currently using. And I'm just going to be talking about this one in general in the aspect of how can you build wealth and we're going to be using unfair advantages. So now let's start by describing what an unfair advantage is. An unfair advantage is something that you have or that you were born with. So it's like a silver spoon in a way. What things were you born with that you don't have to work so hard for towards building your wealth? I'll start. My unfair advantage is the fact that I came to a university in the UK and I am going to graduate. Well, I graduated debt-free and all my expenses were taken care of. So that meant that when I graduate, as opposed to someone that most people rather, not everyone in the UK, but most people that are born in the UK, you realize that when they graduate, they're graduating with a negative net worth. I would be graduating from a zero net worth. So what does this mean? It means that when the person who was born in the UK, person A, and me that was born back home in Zimbabwe and my parents managed to pay all my fees, my education and everything, I'm graduating at zero. This person is starting from minus 30,000 from the average debt that most graduates graduate with in the UK. It's like minus 30,000 pounds and I'm graduating from zero. So now let's compare what these two people have to do to get to 50,000 worth of net worth. I just have to work, save towards, put money towards my savings or invest, buy assets that are worth 50,000 because bear in mind, I'm starting from zero. Now, someone that was born in the UK will be starting from minus 30,000. So they have to start by paying off this debt, which is 30,000, for them to actually get to zero where I am. Bear in mind, if I make 30,000, person B, and person A is also making 30,000, our net worth is not going to be the same. Person's A net worth is going to move from minus 30,000 to zero. My net worth is moving from 0 to 30,000. So anytime we talk about financial wealth, that's something that you guys actually need to put into consideration. Because a lot of the times I've seen that we compare ourselves to the next person, but we don't know their story. My story is I came here, graduated debt-free. However, that's not the only unfair advantage I have. I also have other unfair advantages. The degree that you do will give you an unfair advantage. Where you do it gives you an unfair advantage. Because if someone graduates from Harvard University, for instance, when it comes to job offers and when it comes to actually landing their first graduate job, it's going to be a lot easier as opposed to someone that has just graduated from an unpopular university. So what am I saying when it comes to building wealth? All these things that you're looking at, or all these factors that actually influence where you're coming from and where you want to go, are really, really important in building wealth. Now, something that I unfortunately don't have as an unfair advantage that a lot of other people in the UK, Canada, Australia do have is the passport that they hold. Yes, your passport can give you a very big unfair advantage. For me to be in this country, I need to have either a working visa, a student visa, or seek an asylum, right? Someone that was born in the UK, America, Australia, they can work in several functional countries without requiring a visa. Already, that advances the pool of places that they can work. That advances the pool of their net worth. Because, for instance, if I wanted to work in South Africa, for instance, I need a working visa. I come from Zimbabwe. South Africa is literally my neighboring country. I would need a working visa. Now, if you are a European or you're from the UK, before obviously the whole Brexit stuff happened, someone from Europe could easily come into the UK and work in the UK. Someone from the UK could go and work in America, could go and work in any European country. So already that's their unfair advantage. Another unfair advantage that I've really been wishing was on my side, or favor fell on my side, is having my parents in the same country that I work in. Now, how does having your parents in the same country that you work in, what's the unfair advantage there, right? That's the question everyone will be asking. Now, if my parents were staying in the UK and I was working here, obviously, I would be staying at home. I know a lot of people are against the idea of staying at home, but I'm someone who says staying at home for as long as you possibly can will literally help you build wealth. Now, I'm not saying go stay with your parents and be a lazy child. No. If you're staying with your parents, it's also important for you to contribute towards the bills. You're working, yes, but you need to contribute something. You don't have to be paying £1,000 for rent, right? So let's say you save £700 and you give them £300 towards the gas, electric, or whatever expense that you decide to do in the house. You're still saving a lot more than you would have if your parents had told you to move out. So if you're someone that does have the advantage of actually deciding to stay at home for a little bit longer, that's something that I would say harness that opportunity. Stay at home as long as you can. Not just staying at home because you want to go on holidays, not staying at home because you want to buy yourself nice designer stuff. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying stay at home and build wealth. Stay at home and save towards a down payment for a house. Stay at home and save towards a business. Stay at home and save towards whatever it is that you see yourself investing in. There's no point of you staying at home and saving £700 if you're just going to spend it on liabilities. I'm not saying don't enjoy your money. Obviously, if you stay at home, you've got a little bit more access as opposed to someone that does not stay at home. So you can have a little bit of enjoyment, but bear in mind the only reason you're still staying at home and you haven't moved out, which is the trend that everyone is doing. I remember when I first came, I was like, I want to get my 1-bedroom apartment. I want to decorate. I want to do this and that and that. Then reality literally slapped me in the face, because getting a 1-bedroom apartment means you're paying rent, then you're paying bills, and then you're paying council tax. And I'm like, okay, that's a lot. So at the moment, I'm sharing a 1-bedroom, a 1-bed in a shared accommodation. And that works for me because it has allowed me to save more money. These are some of the things I can do that. Someone else does not have that unfair advantage because maybe they've got a family and you're not going to be sharing you can house share with other people, but you're not just going to have to share a room. So if you're in a shared accommodation and you have to use 2 or 3 rooms, you actually end up realizing that it could be worth just getting your own place because the cost is just going to come to the same thing, right? So that's what I'm saying, that there is a lot of things that we can harness. I used to feel like, oh my gosh, if I was born in the UK, I would be at a better advantage than I am. And then I sat down and I started reflecting on all the things that I actually have as an unfair advantage that only the 1% in the UK would have as an advantage, because only a few people can actually afford to pay their fees outright. Not everyone in the UK can afford to pay their tuition, like higher education that is, outright. Not everyone gets money from their parents for their rent, for their food, for their bills. So today's video, when it comes to building financial wealth, my question to you is, what are your unfair advantages and how are you going to harness those unfair advantages in order to build wealth?
Okay guys, I was actually editing this video and I realized that I forgot to give a disclaimer. I usually give these disclaimers at the beginning of the video, but in this situation, you're lucky if you've gotten to this point. I know that I might have made it seem like just because you know what your unfair advantage is and you harness it, you're obviously going to be wealthy. That is not the situation at all. The truth of the matter is, in order for you to be wealthy, you need to acknowledge your unfair advantage, harness it, but along with this, you also need to work really hard, as well as have dedication and have consistency. The example that I gave earlier was the fact that if you get admission into the University of Harvard, when you graduate with a Harvard University degree, you're obviously going to have an unfair advantage that a lot of employees are naturally going to pick your CV as opposed to the next person's CV. However, if we actually look deeper and dissect the situation, you realize that the person that did get admission into the University of Harvard has been working for the past 18 years of their life in order to actually achieve that bigger goal when they finally do get to university. So throughout the 18 years of their life, they've been excelling academically as well as all-rounded, because I've seen that most people that go to these universities need to be all-rounded. So whenever you actually talk about unfair advantage, it is unfair for me to just make it seem as though just because you've graduated from the University of Harvard, you have an unfair advantage and you're going to make it in life. Yes, you will make it in life. However, that's not the only condition that's required there. There's dedication, hard work, and a lot of consistency as well as discipline. Anyway, that's the quick disclaimer I wanted to give you guys. Bye.
That brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a quick in and out for me to share my thoughts on unfair advantages and for you guys to actually harness these unfair advantages and use them to the best of your abilities. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.